What's good, Eagles fans? What's good? What's good? What's good? This is your boy Tone Deshields II, and y'all are tuned into another live stream from Chalk It Up, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just gotta charge it to the game. And as you can see, I'm joined by my man, my brethren, the nest out west, Philly Foothills, aka Philly Frego. My guy, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
Oh, what's good? What's going on? What's cracking, everybody? It's your boy Philly Foothills back in the house again. Yeah, we definitely got lot to talk about. So definitely got mixed emotions, from everything that's happened since last time we talked. That's for sure.
Yeah, man, for sure. I definitely feel that. As you guys already know, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the content from not only myself but my man Philly Foothills as well. Excuse me. You can find him at the Nest Out West on YouTube. He's in and everywhere. The content that the channel is growing supremely fast. Last time I checked my man channel, I think it was at like 300. Now I'm saying over 5. My man going hard out here, and I love it. I love it, man. I love the energy you bring. I just watched your last video when you pretty much was going the emotional Eagles fan versus the rational Eagles fan. Bro, I was like, it was amazing, bro. Dope content. The energy is always electric, man. You guys definitely have to lock in on the nest out west, man. Philly Foothills, Philly Fuego, the alter ego.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, Tone. Definitely humbled by the kind words. And definitely been working hard, putting out a lot of content, and
Yeah, that's the best.
definitely,
That's the way to do
yeah,
it. It's you
yeah,
have to keep your foot on the gas these days, man. Like a lot of things happen in real life, but we got to keep our foot on the gas. That's the biggest thing, and it's just been so much going on with these Eagles. Like so many things that's been happening out of nowhere. We were at the number 6 overall pick, then we traded back. It's just so many people have different emotions. So many people were up in arms. Some people were just some people were content with the move. Let's just jump right into it. So, for yourself, Foothills, what would you say was your thought process when you first saw this report that the Eagles traded back from 6 to the 12th overall pick?
I was like, I was like a lot of Eagle fans with the initial reaction. I wasn't overly thrilled with the move at first. Especially if we really wanted to get one of the top playmakers in the draft. But when you really step back and look at it, after I took a little time and step back and look at it, we really gained a lot with this move, and we only moved back 6 spots. So to me, with as many quarterback hungry teams there are right now, there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks taken in this top 10. So we could still get a prime playmaker at 12, and we get we're now guaranteed 2 first-round draft picks next year, possibly 3 as long as Carson stays in the field. So when I look at it, after the initial reaction of obviously not liking it, because we're probably not going to get Chase or Pitts like we wanted, but
Right.
we gained a lot, and even if we don't end up using all 3 of those possible first round draft picks next year, we have a lot of draft equity to play around with.
And that's the big thing. Like we have, like one of the lines that I preach is the more assets we have, the more leverage we have, and with leverage comes power and demand. At the end of the day, not many teams can say they can potentially have 3 first round picks, and not many teams can say that. Maybe the Dolphins were able to say that at one point, but not many teams can say that. And by having potentially 3 first round picks, coming out of that trade with Miami, you position yourself to make a very, very, it could either be catastrophic or it could either be memorable. You know what I'm saying? Like it could either,
Yeah.
it's so many ways that it can go. But just thinking about what we got in return, like you said, we moved back to 12. We moved up from, I believe, the 4th. We pretty much got another 3rd rounder or another 4th rounder, I believe. And then we got the 1st rounder for next year. So this team is honestly positioned to rebuild rather quickly if we make the right moves, the right personnel decisions. And if this team shows promise, with this roster as it's presently constructed, coming into this season, because there are still a lot of unanswered questions. There's so many unanswered questions with the receiving core. Is Jalen Reagor going to be able to break out? What do we have in Quez Watkins and John Hightower? What do we have in Travis Fulgham? There's so many questions at the cornerback position because we only have one guy that we really want to hang our hat on, and that's Darius Slade. The other guys, such as Avonte Maddox, Craig James, LeBlanc, all those guys are slot guys, really. You know what I'm saying? So and then on linebacker, we have no one to really hang our hat on except for maybe Alex Singleton and the fact that Jannard Avery moved back to linebacker, which is the natural position. So to me, I believe our key positions that need to be addressed in this draft are cornerback first and foremost, linebacker, and wide receiver, and then everything else, we fill in the gaps, as we go. But the cornerback position is so important because it's so important because of the fact that these wide receivers, they're getting bigger, and not only are they getting bigger, they're able to run just as fast as these smaller guys. You know what I'm saying? You've been looking at these pro days lately, and a lot of these bigger wide receivers are running like 4.39s, 4.38s. 4.4 solid. Like these guys are athletic as hell, and we need a big body corner that can body up with those guys. We can't have a guy like Avonte Maddox out there consistently at all. And then
Right.
then when you think about the aspect of Philly always trying to invest in the trenches, which I don't mind. But we relied on our pass rush entirely too much, these past handful of seasons.
Yeah.
We've relied too much on it, and honestly, it doesn't really benefit us, if I'm being quite honest with you, because that lends us to lean on a bend don't break offense, and I don't, and that's not the way we move it out here. That's not the way to go, in my humble opinion. We need to have guys that are going to attack the ball. We need to have guys that are, going to play up, on the line of scrimmage. Not bouncing back from, not bouncing back from 5 to 10. Like we can't have that. We just can't have that. So, in my humble opinion, well, let's start with you. Like, who do you think we should target with this number 12 overall pick? Because we have being at 12, we have options. Believe it or not, a lot of people, like I said, they were up in arms. A lot of people were up in arms about trading back, but we have options at the end of the day. So who do you think we should target?
I honestly think that we should go with, defense in my eyes, and either get one of the top corners, or if Parsons is available, I would absolutely love Micah Parsons in the middle of our defense. He's going to be a game changer at this next level, and the more and more I watch of his film, the more and more I fall in love with the kid, because he's like a shark in the water when he smells the blood. He's got that drive to the football, and he's just like that. He's a once in a lifetime kind of talent, Micah Parsons. And especially after seeing him run his 40.
Yeah.
That's, to me, the 40 time is important, more so. And some people may disagree with me on this, but to me, the 40 time is more important at the linebacker position than the cornerback, because that corner straight line speed is important, but there's a lot of stop and go, a lot of transitional, elements to the cornerback position and things like that too. So, being a good corner doesn't always necessarily mean you have to be the fastest guy in the field. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. You know what? It's funny you say that, because I was thinking about that. The thing about being a cornerback is, you don't want to get beat, right? But it's all about technique and being able to make the wide receiver go where you want him to go. You know what I'm saying? And I do believe speed is probably more pertinent with the linebacker, for the simple fact that linebackers have large shoes to fill. And what I mean by that is, they have so many responsibilities at linebacker. Not only are they responsible for being able to call out, what the offense is doing and making sure everyone's on the same page, depending if that linebacker's, that's his role, as the mic. But at the same time, you have to not only pass rush, you have to drop back in coverage,
Right.
and depending on the scheme you're in, you might have to play the nickel. So
Oh yeah.
to that point, yeah, Michael Parsons would be an amazing pick. For just knowing everything he brings to the table, the physical intangibles, the grit, just everything top to bottom. He's a physical specimen. But at the same time, I think we can't discount the guy, Jeremiah Owasu Koromoa out of Notre Dame, the linebacker. I was watching his film, and the dude, his ability to just play all over the field is insane. He has this knack for being able to keep up with the slot wide receivers and also keeping up with these athletic tight ends, because tight ends are becoming more and more athletic. And granted, he's not the biggest guy, right? He's only about 6 feet, 6'1", 215, 220. But he strikes me as a really, really intelligent linebacker, a guy that knows how to play the gaps, knows how to, he has great technique when it comes to, lining up in the slot in the nickel. And, I recently dropped a video about him, and I was really blown away by the guy, even blown away by his pro day interview. The dude is really intuitive, really on top of his game, and also isn't never satisfied with his development, never satisfied with anything. He's very aware of the things he needs to work on, and I think that's really important to have, and a young guy coming in, and he's real big on culture, establishing a culture, coming to a team that that has a legit culture, and if not, he's willing to bring it as well. So I think not only Michael Parsons, but JOK from Notre Dame would be an amazing pick as well. I know a lot of people mentioned Zaven Collins, but definitely not picking Zaven Collins that high.
Right.
If anything, I think somebody mentioned trading back up in the first if possible to get Zaven Collins, maybe if we go corner at 12. Because to be honest with you, if I'm really like thinking about my gut, bro, I think we need to go corner at 12. A guy like J.C. Horn or Patrick Surtain the second. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I would definitely tend to agree with you, because that's, like you said earlier, that's definitely a position we have to address, and we have to be able to, Slay has to have some help on the other side. We have to get somebody who can play on the outside, better than Maddox did last year, obviously. And I like either one of those two that you mentioned. I would probably favor J.C. Horn. I tend to like his skill set a little bit better. He like six? He's like 6 foot, 200 pounds. So he's good size. Play on the outside.
Yeah. JC Horn's 6'1", over 200, like 205.
Yeah. So he's a good sized kid. He's got pretty good. He could track the ball pretty well in the air too.
He's really physical. He's extremely physical. And a lot of people say that that's a beautiful thing to have, but at the same time, carrying over to the next level, it could potentially harm him, because you don't want to get PIs all day, and he's going to have to work on technique a little bit more. A lot of people feel that Patrick Surtain is more technically sound than J.C. Horn, and I can understand what they mean by that. I can definitely understand what they mean by that. But J.C. Horn's draft stock has just risen, since his pro day. And the dude, he jumps out of the gym. You know what I'm saying? Literally had a 41.5-inch vertical. A 4.39 40-yard dash, an 11-foot broad jump. 19 reps. Lifting 225 pounds. He's a strong guy, and he's confident.
Right.
His confidence is deadly, and I need that in my deep back. He gives me Jalen. He gives me, and I'm not comparing their talent. I'm not comparing that, but he gives me Jalen Ramsey level confidence, and I love that.
Yeah, I agree. And there's certain techniques that Slay and some of these more veteran guys will be able to teach them. Now that we have Anthony Harris too, that's another great addition to this secondary that can be kind of a mentor to some of these younger guys like Kavon Wallace.
Right.
See how they can mature and see how they can develop at the position, and hopefully rub some of their Pro Bowl skill set, some of their Pro Bowl luck and mentality off on them.
No, I feel you. Like Darius Slay is literally on an island, and he needs help. He needs help, and trading back, that tells me a lot. That tells me that, okay, either the guy that they thought was going to be there, they're pretty sure he won't be, and at the same time, they believe they may get the guy they want, regardless, without having to be at that 6 overall pick. Now, don't get it twisted. I would have loved to stay at 6 overall. I would have loved to stay. Don't get me wrong. I would have loved to stay there. But trading back and still being able to get a top tier guy, especially on defense, that would really, really, that would make me happy, especially knowing what we got. In return with the additional first round pick. And on top of that, they're really, now here's the thing too. They made this trade. They made this trade so early. And that begs the question: are they done? Are they done making the moves?
Right. And I think they are, as far as this first round selection. I think they are. I think they're going to select at 12. And I didn't buy in too much to the media hype of, us being possibly interested in moving up to 3 to get, it's because we were interested in Zach Wilson.
Right.
I don't really buy into that. I think that's just the media trying to.
I agree, because the Jets are the Jets will still be in front of us, and right. they want Zach Wilson if he's there.
Right. They've made that clear now. Yeah, Zach Wilson's going number 2. I think it's really. I think it's what I was trying to say was, I think it's the media just trying to really hype it up because they know they get such a response from this fan base when it comes to the quarterback position, especially with how fresh in our, with this whole Wentz being traded away, this offseason and everything that's transpired, since then, and since basically even going back to when Jalen Hurts was drafted last draft, right? I mean, that was a big, huge, shocking moment in this for this fan base, and it kind of it still hasn't settled down, because there is so many people out there right now who have already written off Jalen Hurts and think that he is not the answer, and think that we're going to be in the market for a quarterback next draft. And I don't necessarily agree with that, because we don't know what we have with Jalen yet. We really don't. And to me, he fits the mold for the quarterback position kind of going forward in the NFL. That more mobile quarterback who can still throw from the pocket, but can be dynamic with his legs too. So,
right.
We have to really give him his fair shake and see what really he can do. And this is like I've said before, this has to be looked at like his rookie year extended this next year, because the kid was thrown into a shit storm last year. The team was a mess. We're lucky he won one game as he did and was competitive as he was, with how much, how lack of production he was getting from the weapons, missing Zach Ertz, the offensive line being torn up, things like that. So,
right.
And
I feel you.
Yeah.
I definitely want to respond to Cameron Holmes. He said, "Would we still like the trade back move if Kyle Pitts goes to Dallas?" Well, for one, Cam, that's an extreme hypothetical.
Right.
It's hard to really predict who's going to go anywhere. Really, it really is, because let's be real.
Does Dallas really need Kyle Pitts? I would say no. They have so many weapons as it is already.
Like
they don't need Kyle Pitts.
Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and they have a tight end that they actually like. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And also, granted, if you're factoring the fact that Dallas is going to see, a lot of the time, these NFC East teams, especially Dallas and New York, they draft players to spite us. You know what I'm saying? They draft players, just because they knew we wanted them. But that's counterproductive to the bigger goal. I could care less what they ultimately do. I'm going to still stick with the fact that trading back was a solid move. It wasn't a terrible move, and it also wasn't an amazing move either. It's a move that's still evolving, if that makes sense. It's
right.
So I really can't answer that question, because that's such an extreme hypothetical. What are the odds of Kyle Pitts even dropping to Dallas? like maybe Detroit wants him. You never know.
Right. And I mean
Maybe the Falcons.
And the Giants too. The Giants have a starting tight end, and they just got Galladay in free agency and they spend a buttload on him as their top wideout. So, I think the Giants are probably going to go more defense in this draft. To be honest with you, with that,
right. And
with
also
or offensive line.
To your point, Foothills, the Cowboys would be idiots to draft Kyle Pitts where they are. Look,
defensively, especially with the defensive backs they have.
Exactly.
Oh,
Listen,
yeah.
the Cowboys are picking at 10, right? They would be idiots to pass on a guy like Patrick Surtain or maybe J.C. Horn, or even though I don't care for him, but Caleb Farley. They would be idiots to draft Kyle Pitts. That would be counterproductive. Their defense still needs work. So,
I agree with you.
So like I highly doubt they would even do something like that. I just think it would totally be against what their biggest need is corner. And there are two, maybe three legit corners that can go top 13, top 15. You know what I'm saying? And if you're at 10 and you can get one of them, you get them. Like honestly, I feel like the Cowboys are going to get Patrick Surtain the second. That's why that's one of the reasons I've been so locked in on J.C. Horn as of late, because remember before, I was really big on Patrick Surtain the second. But knowing the Cowboys are in front of us and they know we need corners as well, I got a feeling they would go for Surtain the second. But I still wouldn't mind J.C. Horn. I just don't want Caleb Farley. He seems like Sidney Jones 2.0.
Right. I agree. And a lot of people have been talking up Eric Stokes. I think Eric Stokes is kind of overrated myself too. I don't think he's gonna. I think he'll probably, he'll go maybe in the later first round in the second round. But there's definitely some pretty deep talent at corner in this draft. I've been in contact on Twitter with Tay Gowan, who sat out this past year, but is a top prospect out of UCF, University of Central Florida. I've been in contact with him on Twitter. He's having his pro day, I guess, tomorrow. So I'm trying to line up an interview with him very soon. Yeah, because I think he's a very underrated corner, especially missing this past year because of the pandemic. He has a young child who he was looking out for, and didn't want to put at risk. So I totally respect him for that. But he's a kid that I think is definitely kind of under the radar in this draft too.
Right. Well, even Asante Samuel Jr. as well.
Right.
My only gripe with him is he's 5'10". That's my only knock. That's my only knock. Because
I think
we have, and I know a lot of people say he's talented. He might be the best ball hawk in this draft, but I just, his size is what scares me, and I feel like
he's probably gonna have to play on the inside, and unless he's going to be on the outside against a receiver that's more of his size, that's another story. But if he can't line up he's not going to be able to line up outside against some of these receivers who are 6'2", 6'3", some of these bigger guys like DK, guys like that who they'll just be able to, he'll be able to outmuscle him. And like I was saying, he's more than likely Asante is going to have to play more of his time on the inside and play more of in that nickel position,
Right. And again, we need a big body corner to battle with these X and Z wide receivers on the outside.
Absolutely
watching last season was really painful for not only the fact that Darius was by himself, but you really saw the fact that it wasn't the fact that a lot of these cornerbacks weren't in position. They just weren't big enough. They weren't big enough. Right. They weren't strong enough. They weren't big enough. And that's the problem. Asante Samuel, talent aside, he's not big enough for me. And we can get a guy 6'1", over 200 pounds, that can at least body up with these wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the route you have to go if you go corner. In that first round, and then let's just say they go linebacker in that first round, right? Let's say they do get Micah Parsons, which I'm kind of doubtful they will do that. But if they do, The second round, you can still go Elijah Moore at wide receiver. You can go Terrace Marshall Jr. at wide receiver. Asante Samuel, at corner if you want, and then maybe get your big body corner later on. You can go Nick Bolton at line. You have options, right? And
Oh yeah,
cause I like Nick Bolton. I like Zayvon Collins. I like Chad Surratt. I like a lot of these linebackers. That are coming up. This draft is very rich in talent when it comes to corners and linebackers.
I agree. It is. Yeah, there's definitely depth out there that's that can be that we don't have to that we can somewhat wait around and let fall to us in these later rounds. Like you said, like a Chaz Surratt. I could see us getting him. Possibly in the third or fourth round. Depending on how things fall.
Right, and I wouldn't be surprised. You know what? I really wouldn't be surprised. Also, even though I don't want them to do this in the first round, I wouldn't be surprised if Philly, if one of those O linemen, one of those top tier O linemen fall. I wouldn't be surprised if they reach one of those guys. I would not be surprised. If a guy like Christian Darrisaw falls or Rashawn Slater, if one of those two guys fall, because we all know Penny Sewell's not going to fall outside top 3. But
right.
if one or two of those guys are there, I wouldn't be surprised if they go line. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't either, because that's another position that we kind of have to put some draft stock in fairly soon. What be it in this draft or going into next year, we're going to have to start replacing some of these aging linemen. We do, obviously. If I definitely hope and I'm excited to see some of the vets come back this year, like Lane Johnson and Brandon Brooks, and see that what they have left in the tank, things like that. But we also have to remember too, these guys are not getting any younger, and the more and more wear and tear that they put out there in the field, the shorter their time gets. So we definitely have to.
Right.
We have to look into the future, definitely.
To that point, though, we know what our O-line is pretty much going to look like this year, right? So my thing is, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a dominant O-lineman coming out next year's draft as well. I personally wouldn't go O-lineman in the first round. I just wouldn't, because you have a lot of established guys on the O-line already, and Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, Samalu, and then on top of that, you got Mailata. You have Andre Dillard, who you really just still don't know what he is yet. Got Herbig and Driscoll. I like the depth we have at O-line. There's a good combination of veterans and youth. I like it a lot. And let's be honest, a lot of those guys got a lot of good experience last season. That O-line was getting rotated like no other. And I firmly believe Jack Driscoll and Nate Herbig and Mailata especially is going to take that next leap. At O-line, because we brought Jeff Stoutland back. He didn't go to Alabama, thank God. And
thank you, Nick Saban.
He makes it, and he makes it Stoutland makes it a point to make sure guys are prepared. He makes sure guys are prepared if they got to play left tackle or left guard, or he always cross trains these guys. As my man Joey Shakes always says, it's really important. It's really important to solidify. It's really important to understand what we have and what we can get right now. And I feel like if you got a chance to get one of these dominant linebackers or corners in that first round, you have to do it. And I wouldn't mind Devontae Smith, but in the same breath, I have to say that we still don't know truly what Jalen Reagor is. I'm not comparing their skill set. I'm just stating the fact that we did draft Jalen Reagor in that first round. That's a fact.
Right.
We drafted him in the first round last year. And last year also, he didn't really get a chance to take that step, or he really wasn't able to really solidify himself as one of those top tier first round prospects. Guys like Justin Jefferson made him look crazy. CeeDee Lamb made him look crazy. You know what I'm saying? Guys like what's the other dude? Denzel Mims and Michael Pittman. Granted, those guys had modest years. Two of the biggest guys, obviously, Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb. Henry Ruggs had a great year. Jerry Jones had a great year. You know what I'm saying? So, Jalen Reagor, out of the first round wide receivers that were taken, he has to take that leap. And I wouldn't be mad if we didn't go wide receiver in the first round, knowing where we are now. Now, who we're at 6, I want to make it clear. I was Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts, either or. I was big. But since we traded back, the narrative has changed. So we have to understand that. And I wouldn't mind Devontae Smith, but at the same time, we have so many unknowns in that wide receiver room. Travis Fulgham, Quez Watkins, John Hightower, Jalen Rager. Greg Ward's coming back, so he's Mr. Reliable. JJ, I think a Whiteside, throw him in the garbage. But
the umbrella man.
Right, and at the end of the day, we're only going to be able to. At the end of the day, you're probably going to shoot up to, maybe 4 wide receivers on game day. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, Jalen Rager is definitely going to shoot up because you drafted him in the first round last year. I definitely believe Quez Watkins is going to be there.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see year 2 out of Quez, because we only seen we just got that little bit. We got that little glimpse of what he can do, and if he can do that anywhere near, be that productive on a consistent basis, look out. He's going to be a dynamite weapon for Jalen Hurts in this offense.
Bro, for real. One of the viewers, they mentioned, what's your opinion on Hurts right now? I know you already said we really don't know where he is, but just off the top of your head right now, how do you feel about Hurts? Just taking into account how he's handled this off season. With his training, with all the drama, with the other guy leaving to the Colts. What's your opinion on Jalen Hurts as of today?
I definitely think he has a lot of upside, and I'm excited to see what he can do with this new offense and the new coaching staff. And hopefully we can have more of a consistent protection up front with him with the offensive line.
Right.
And, I just think that with his work ethic and with his, drive to want to win at all costs, that's a kind of mindset that's kind of rare when you really kind of get all the weeds out of the garden and you really start looking at it. His work ethic is really, really strong, and I love that about the kid. He's a competitor. Some of his doubters want to point back at the, him leaving Alabama and not wanting to compete with Tua at Alabama. But your time at the collegiate level is only so long. It's very limited, and you have to, if your goal is to make it to the NFL, you have to be able to put yourself out there and show what you can do to the scouts and to the coaches and things like that, and to the GMs.
Being honest, he wouldn't have gotten an opportunity. I know people say, why didn't he battle all with Tua? But listen, Alabama was sold on Tua. They loved it. They were not going. They were not going to. And at that time,
that's one of the hardest things to do in college football, is to try to change Nick Saban's mind. That's one of the hardest things. Once that guy's got his mind made up, he's pretty damn stubborn when it comes to his decision making.
Exactly. And I personally think Hurts is going to have a solid year. His mentals is what does it for me. Obviously he's athletic. Obviously, he's a fearless guy, but his mentals is what does it for me. And that's the quarterback position is I personally believe the quarterback position is more mental than physical, because obviously I'm not comparing him to this guy, but I'm just talking about an example of a guy who relies more on his mentals more so than his actual physical abilities. And this is Tom Brady. Tom Brady has shown that you don't have to have the biggest arm. You know what I'm saying? Right. Tom Brady's accurate. Don't get it twisted. But he's shown that you don't have the biggest arm. But he's such a freak when it comes to mastering the art of the position.
Right. He's methodical
when it comes to that. So, just thinking about Jalen Hurts' mindset and his dying need to not only compete but want to be great. His need to want to really master the position and master his mechanics. And he's been linking up with legit guys in the offseason that train quarterbacks. I forget my main name. He's one of the more well-known quarterback coaches in the NFL. I think his last name.
I know you're talking about. Yeah, I know you're talking about
Avery.
Joey Shakes was talking about him.
Quincy Avery. And
yes, exactly. Yeah.
And I gotta give the man. The respect. I have to. And Cam, you're right. Tom Brady's not athletic. He relies so much on his mentals to take that next step. Like, and that's so important. That's so important at that position to be not only strong-willed but strong-minded. And no matter what's in front of you, you eat. And anything that bleeds can be killed. You feel what I'm saying? That's the mindset I want my quarterback to have, especially in Philadelphia.
Right. You want your quarterback. You want your quarterback to be out there playing chess when everybody else is playing checkers, right? I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You want them to be one step ahead of everybody else, and that's where, and to your point, that's where Tom Brady. That's why he's been so successful, because he's on top of his shit. As much as I don't like the guy, his craft is strong, and he knows what he knows what he's doing, and he proved that this past year by leaving New England and still winning a championship. So
big time. That was a touch of huge. He legitimately, to see someone just plug and play like that, like he literally just plugged himself into that offense and he took him to the promised land. There's no way you can't. And a lot of people doubted him. I had my doubts at first. I'm not gonna lie, I had my doubts at first, but that team caught fire at the right time. And if you think about Tom Brady's run in the playoffs, who did he beat? He beat Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and Pat Mahomes.
Right.
Two of the best quarterbacks in the league, right? Drew Brees is retired, but at that time, three of the best quarterbacks in the league. He ran the table. You gotta respect that. You gotta respect that. You have to respect that. That run was storybook. He's going to be able to tell that story. Not only did he go to a different franchise for the first time in his career after 15 seasons, 16. Like, I don't know how many seasons, but
20, I think.
Right, 20. Like to go into a whole another franchise, do what you did, and then beat the people you did the way you beat them. Come on, man. Right. I got to tip my hat off to that guy. I had, for that specific run, I have to. A lot of people get on him about, the various things, the various scandals in the past. I can't really speak for all that, because at the end of the day, he got reprimanded the way he was supposed to, especially for Deflategate or whatever. But in the same breath, you can't take that Tampa Bay Super Bowl from him. You just can't. You can't.
Right.
And I wouldn't be surprised if and I know we're kind of going off topic, but I wouldn't be surprised if he says that's his favorite Super Bowl of all time.
I wouldn't either, because I mean that kind of put his, that got him out from underneath that Belichick umbrella, and it put his own stamp on it, with his own success in a whole nother team and with a whole nother players around him and coaching staff, things like that. So yeah, but going back to I forget what that person's name was who was asking about, what if the Cowboys took Pitts at 10? Right. The Cowboys would not only to your point, Tone, do they not need an offensive weapon? They obviously would benefit so much more to go defense, but if they had a chance to get Pitts, they would be better off drafting a quarterback, just in case, things don't work out with Dak. If he's got complications with his injury, things like that. I know they expect him to make a full recovery, but you never know. Guys could have lasting complications with serious injuries like that. So, but like if they,
but they paid him already. They paid him regardless. Like regardless of any they paid him. So even drafting a quarterback would be dangerous.
It would. But my point was, though, they would be smarter to draft like a Trey Lance behind Dak Prescott as opposed to Kyle Pitts, because Kyle Pitts is you're like we've already said, they have so many weapons already, and you can only spread the ball around so much. So, in my eyes, as dangerous as drafting a quarterback would be after just paying Dak all that money, it would be smarter than draft. My point was it would be smarter than drafting Kyle Pitts.
I understand where you're coming from. I guess my retort to that would be like, I probably feel the opposite, in terms of like Kyle Pitts, because he definitely would make the offense better. Don't get it twisted. He definitely would make their offense a juggernaut. But, regardless, we both agree that that wouldn't be smart for them to draft him anyway because they have more glaring needs than a tight end. That might be one of their least needs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like they're so weak at corner, which is they're so weak at the defensive back position. They're so weak, and and so are we. Don't get it twisted. So are we, but they really need to nurture that, and we need to really. This is a big draft. This is the biggest draft in the past decade. This is the biggest draft of the decade. Hands down. This is the biggest draft of the decade.
That's why I won't be surprised if the Giants swoop up one of the top corners at 11, right? Because they picked right before us at 11.
They did sign Adoree Jackson, so maybe not.
Oh, that's right. They did get Adoree. I forgot about
they
that.
Gave him
Yeah,
a big contract.
Right. You're right. That slipped my mind. I forgot they signed. They got Adoree. Yeah, because I was thinking that they just had that younger kid Bradbury on the one side, but yeah, Adoree Jackson was a big pickup for them. I personally think that they overpaid him a little bit.
Of course, you typically do in free agency.
Right, absolutely, yeah, and that's where we've kind of made some mistakes in the past. A la the Dream Team. What was that in 2010?
Please don't bring it up. The whole Vince again, Nnamdi Asomugha. Don't bring that up, man. That was one of the ugliest seasons I've ever had to witness because Nnamdi Asomugha was so bad. He left the NFL and started acting. Like seriously, like you can actually find Nnamdi Asomugha like movies, and he's actually pretty good. he does okay as an actor. You know what I'm saying? He does okay, and and then. I doubt the Giants, just shifting a little bit. I doubt the Giants will even go wide receiver because they just signed Kenny Galladay.
Right.
And they still have Sterling Shepard, I believe. They still got Evan Ingram at tight end. Who else do they have? Who else do they have at wide receiver?
They have that younger kid. His name is escaping me right now. But what I was just about to say was, wouldn't it be weird, be a shocker if the Giants kind of threw a curveball in there and they drafted a quarterback?
That would be insane. What if they draft Mac Jones?
Right. And there's a lot of, and I have a lot of, I have friends that are 49er fans, and some of them think that the 49ers are going to make a play for Mac Jones, and I'm like, at 3? No way. No way.
But here's the thing, though. There's so many, we rely on a lot of these experts to determine someone else's value, right? But the biggest thing about these teams that are going for quarterbacks, the biggest thing we ignore sometimes is at the end of the day, you want to get the guy that you believe is going to take your offense to the next level. You know what I'm saying? It's a fit thing, right? It's rare you have a quarterback that just no matter where you put him, he's going to play well. You know what I'm saying? So, I personally think San Fran is going to probably go Trey Lance or Justin Fields. I wouldn't be surprised because Justin Fields had an amazing pro day, and there's this narrative that his draft stock is dropping, but for no reason. I don't understand it. He had an amazing pro day. And he obviously played well in college, to be drafted top 8, top 10 or whatever. So my thing is, I don't understand why people was trying to say his stock is dropping, or even if it is, I don't see why it would be. I really couldn't make sense of that. And I even saw rumors that the Eagles potentially may look at Mac Jones at 12, and I think that's not a good thing because if you're going to trade back, why would you go quarterback at that point? You should have stayed where you were. You might be able to have Trey Lance fall to you. You know what I'm saying? It was no need for you to trade back then go quarterback. I think that's counterproductive. I really believe them trading back. Granted, it's early, so they may trade up again. You never know. But the same token, them trading back tells me right now a defensive guy's on their mind. That's what I'm thinking.
And I tend to agree because I think they feel that the Bengals are gonna, they're gonna take. It sounds like the Bengals are either gonna take Penny, or they're gonna go wide receiver and take Chase. So at that point, that leaves the Eagles in kind of a position because they could probably still get a person that if the plays out that way, they could still get the person that they want at 12 that they could at 6. So
Exactly.
if they do, and if that happens, and if we still get, a top defensive player, or if Devontae Smith falls to us at 12, then this trade back looks like an absolute steal for us. Yeah,
seriously,
absolute steal.
Especially if we can get a top tier guy. That's what I'm saying. Like, people are so mad about it because of Jamar Chase and Kyle Pitts. But at the same time, the longer I thought about it, and I'm not ignoring Kyle Pitts's tangibles, the measurables. I'm not ignoring none of that. He's a freak. But at the same time, that's sort of a luxury pick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and see, that's the thing too, is that that's a lot of that's what I'm trying to explain to the common fan. That a lot of people don't. And a lot of people that reacted so negatively to this trade don't really understand is that as good as a Jamar Chase is or a Kyle Pitts is, they weren't gonna get us, to where we want to overnight. One player is not gonna change this team. There's too many holes. There's too many needs. There's too many spots to be filled other than, a top playmaker. Then it just wasn't gonna. Yeah, we all wanted that. Like you said, just as much as you did, I wanted Pitts too. I wanted Chase at 6, and I was upset that we moved back. But when you really step back and look at the big picture, this is going to be a good move. I really think it is.
I agree.
And, yeah,
I really agree.
Lord Brunson was saying the same thing, and a lot of people were coming at him on his live feed because he did a live feed right after it was announced, and a lot of people were coming at him negatively, and he was standing strong with, this is a solid move. We only had to move back 6 spots, and we picked up a first round pick. And we moved up. Not only did we gain a first round pick, but we moved up draft stock wise as far as moving from a 5th round pick to a 4th round pick. So that's big in itself. That's like 33. I think that's like 33 spots if I'm counting right. That's because we moved up from 156 to 123. So in that's a big talent swing just right there. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Like and besides, you build your roster in those 3rd to 7th rounds. That's where you really start to build your roster. And we have we have 11 picks, right? So I doubt if we're going to actually draft 11 players. I say we draft between 8 and 9. Like 8 and 9, between 7 and 9 players. I wouldn't be surprised if they package some of those picks, to move up. Maybe package some of those picks with Zach Ertz to move back up into the 1st, and get a guy on the back end of that 1st round. I wouldn't be surprised. See, that's the thing about having leverage, having all these picks. So many people are getting mad, but having all these picks gives you flexibility. And and let's be honest, we've been strapped at the cap. So having flexibility in the draft just allows me to breathe much easier as not only an Eagles content creator, but as an Eagles fan. Because with flexibility, you can move pieces around. You can get creative. You know what I'm saying? You're not tied to the hip. So you don't have, and also by having all these picks, you can afford to, let's be honest. The more picks you have, the better chance of at least 1 or 2 or 3 of the guys, being gems. So when you give yourself that much leeway, that much room for error. I'm not saying Howie Roseman has room for error because he has none. But just when you think about having the assets, that gives you a lot of room and space opportunity to find a guy in this draft that can really change your defense or change your offense. Like the offense, yeah, we need some star power, yeah. But at the same token, defense needs a lifeline. They need help. Fletcher Cox and Darius Slay and Brandon Graham can't keep holding this defense down. We need guys like Kevon Wallace to take that next step. We need Anthony Harris to have an amazing prove it year. Because let's be honest, Anthony Harris, the safety we just picked up, he didn't come to Philly just to come here. He came because Jonathan Gannon was here, and Jonathan Gannon put him in the best position to succeed. And I'm telling you, Anthony is playing for a contract. He wants a big contract, and I don't know if it's going to be with us. But regardless, we got him for a year, and he's going to play out of his mind, I believe. And we really need a lot of guys to take that next leap. We need Javon Hargrave to take that leap on the D line. He came from a 3-4 defense to a 4-3 offense, and it kind of stunned him a little bit. On top of that, he came in hurt. So we need him to take that next step. We need Jannard Avery, at the linebacker spot now to really, put his stamp on the game. Darius Slay's
that's going to be, to me, that's going to be a big move to watch him. Jannard Avery moving back to his natural position of linebacker, because the Eagles really, I felt that they had him playing out of position, ever since we got him. He's definitely, I think he's more productive on the field when he's standing up, as opposed to, putting his hand in the dirt. And I'm just excited to see what he can do at the linebacker position, because that's kind of an untapped resource that we have right there as well. So that we can kind of explore and see where it takes us. I was so glad, and I know you were too, to hear that our the linebacker that couldn't cover a kid with a blanket is not going to be a Philadelphia Eagle anymore.
Bro, I couldn't be any happier to see Nate Gary on the other side of the country. Like, the dude was such a liability, and their biggest thing was, oh, he's smart. He's a smart guy. He understands the system. I don't give a damn. He can't cover anybody. Tyler Higbee lit him up in week 3.
And I guess the 49ers picked him up, and I was joking with some of my buddies who are 49ers fans. They're like, oh, he'll probably just be on special teams. And I'm like, well, if he is, it's not going to be very special. That's for sure. Because
the dude is just Jannard Avery, real quick back to him, he's been working out with the Footwork King in the offseason, getting himself back, back to what he's used to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really excited, bro. Like this season is going to be very interesting for the simple fact that we're going to see a lot of guys develop. And this new coaching staff, I know we don't talk about it enough, but this new coaching staff, I'm really excited to see what they bring to the table, because they're young, they're spunky, and they have a lot that they want to prove. All these guys want to show that they can coach in this NFL. All these guys want to show that, hey, listen, this isn't going to be a cakewalk over here. And I'm telling you, this Eagles team is going to punch somebody in the mouth. And the league is going to be like, whoa, okay, who are these guys that are breaking out over here? I'm telling you, it's very possible. It's very, very possible.
Right. No, I agree, because, especially in the first, 3 or 4 games, we're definitely gonna surprise some people, and like you said, punch some people in the mouth, catch some people off guard, because they're not gonna know what really to game plan for, because this is a whole new coaching staff. It's a whole new ball game with the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, we have some returning players, but that doesn't mean anything when you're trying to game plan as far as what kind of strategy the other team's going to run at you. So yeah, we're going to be a headache for some defenses, especially in the first half of the season, and until they can get some game plan to go, get some game film to go off of, and start game planning, against us. But yeah, I'm excited too, because to me, I think the coaching staff had a lot to do with the lack of development at the wide receiver position last year, and even going back further than that, just the lack of consistency with the coaching, especially at that position. And I think this new coaching staff is very, very equipped with not only putting guys, in positions to succeed, but like we've said, putting guys in the right position, getting guys in the right position to succeed. They may not be the talentedest guys on the field, but these coaches are going to get the juice out of the grape. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. The key is to get the best out of these guys. The key is to literally maximize these guys' skill set as it stands at the moment, and then to expand on their skill set. I really believe a lot of these guys are going to take that next step. I firmly believe that. I'm really excited about Jordan Mailata, the next step he's going to take, as a left tackle. And I firmly believe that he's going to be the starter, and also I feel like we shouldn't rule out Andre Dillard potentially moving to left guard. We shouldn't rule out the fact that maybe Andre Dillard can learn and become that new center if Jason Kelsey retires. We can't. The thing is, we have flexibility on the O line as well. I'm not saying we can't draft more O linemen in this draft, but I wouldn't do it in the first round. And you still got guys that are growing, becoming legit guys. I'm really like this is going to, and then on top of that, not talking about O line. Let's go into the backfield. Miles Sanders needs help. Miles Sanders.
Oh, yeah.
Let's be honest. Miles Sanders should have been a 1,000-yard runner this season. He should have been, but we weren't running the ball enough. We were not running the ball enough. So in turn, that led to. And let's be honest. Every time he touched the ball, he did something with it. Every single time.
Right.
Like he had multiple 70+ yard runs this season. And my thing is, you see that. Why aren't you feeding the man? I don't understand. It's one of those things that I will never truly understand. I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons Doug got fired, because you clearly were not utilizing his roster properly. Clearly.
Yeah, especially when it comes to Miles Sanders. He never got over 20 touches in a game, and to me, it doesn't matter if you're down on the scoreboard. You can't become one-dimensional because you're just feeding into the defense at that point, and you're just making it that much easier for them to stop you, because they know you're gonna be throwing the ball 85 to 90% of the time, and they don't have to really worry about the run because you're not even establishing it. They don't even have to worry about play action either because you're not establishing the run.
Exactly.
So when Doug Peterson tried to run those play actions with not having a run game going, that's just, to me, that was like
come on.
It's like, seriously, it's like, really? Like, what are you doing? Because that's just like,
he was coaching as if they, like, other coaches don't keep up with tendencies. He was coaching as if tendencies weren't being recorded. Like, tendencies are recorded. That's an analytical stat. Like, we record those things.
And he was being as predictable as like a high school coach. I mean, he was basically dipping back into his high school coaching days with his predictability and his lack of creativity in the offense, and trying to get guys like Quez and guys like Rieger. You got to get them in space. You got to let them utilize their speed and their athletic ability, and he wasn't doing that. And I know that this new coaching staff is gonna do a better job at that, because I mean, you can't do much worse, that's for sure. But I think I'm really confident in Sirianni and and Steichen and these guys. They're gonna put a good game plan together, and this team. We may not go to the promised land, in the first couple of years, but give this coaching staff some time, and I think they got great things ahead of them. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you on that. This is the youngest coaching staff we've had in the city in a long time. I can't remember a coaching staff we ever had, if ever, this young.
Yeah. I can't either.
I really can't. But this upcoming draft, the draft is in about 4 weeks, and it's so interesting to think about, because like this first round is going to determine a lot. It's going to determine a lot, and it's going to let us know exactly how the rest of this draft is going to go.
Yeah. And to me, the way things felt, don't you really think that this was like how quickly things fell into place, with the 49ers trading with the Dolphins, and then us trading with the Dolphins, that was all within, like 20 minutes, half hour time in real time. That was like that had to be like a three-man, 3-team deal, right? I mean, I think Howie Roseman was probably on the phone with John Lynch and the GM for the Dolphins, and they all kind of worked out that deal together, because that's just how quickly that all fell down the other day was just really, because I was on the phone with my buddy after I seen that the 49ers traded up to 3. I was calling him, because I knew he was going to be excited, because he wants Justin Fields, and now they're in prime position to get him. And we were talking about that, and then all of a sudden, within like 10 or 15 minutes talking to him on the phone, the news broke about the Eagles trading down with the Dolphins. So it was like the NFL's equivalent of a 3-team deal, really.
Bro, I feel you. I'm going to respond to my man Janetti. He always comes in and shows love for sure, man. Janetti, he says, which coaching position do we think needs the most improvement? Well, we definitely got rid of, we definitely cleaned house and got a bunch of guys in, right? But if, obviously we don't know what these guys are going to do. So I would say, I would answer your question like this. The position that needs the most coaching, I'll respond that way. The position that requires the most coaching would probably be the linebackers or the defensive backs coach. Those two positions require the most coaching to me, or the best coaching available right now. Because the linebackers, let's be honest, it seems like the shallow part of the field we couldn't cover it. It seemed like we were just getting slaughtered, in the intermediate routes. You know what I'm saying? We had no linebackers that could legitimately drop back in coverage. What's up, Philly? Philly, my guy. We had legitimately no linebackers that was able to drop back in coverage and cover anybody, not even a tight end. I never want to see Tyler Higbee torch us like that again. I never want to see that in my life. That should not happen. That should not happen with NFL level talent. And I'm not taking nothing away from Tyler Higbee. He's a solid tight end, solid. But dude, that should he had 3 touchdowns in that game, 3. And they all came on the linebacker core. It should not happen. It should never happen. So I would say linebackers need the most work.
I would definitely tend to agree with Tone on that. Yeah, linebackers definitely need the most coaching, and I think we have kind of a young and unproven linebacker coach, so it's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
For sure.
Hopefully, being a younger guy and being a former player himself, he can really relate and get into the minds of some of these younger players and develop them and help them grow. But another position I would definitely throw out there, we were just talking about, is wide receiver. They definitely have to, and thank God Aaron Moorhead's back, because we finally get some consistency at the coaching at that position.
Right.
And that definitely needs to be a key position to address as far as player development, as far as just the new nuances. Think when plays break down, how to teach those guys to get into some open field and try to work back to the quarterback, things like that.
That was a big weakness. I agree with you on that.
Right.
The receivers, one of the biggest weaknesses was their ability, once things break down and once they run their route, it seemed like they didn't know what to do after that. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is come back. My thing is come back to the ball. But in the same token, Doug Peterson had them running go routes all the time. So it's hard to come back when you're going so far deep. You don't know what's going on. Next thing you know, your quarterback is sacked. So I think one of the positions we're going to see immediate, one of the more immediate leaps I think we're going to see is probably going to be at that wide receiver position, because Nick Sirianni, that like my man, like Marion Johnson says,
it's his specialty.
That's his specialty. That is his specialty, and then it's quarterbacks, and then that's his legitimate specialty, and then you got Aaron Moorhead, who actually was able to see. The thing is, I wouldn't put the blame on Aaron Moorhead, because a lot of those young guys like Quez Watkins, John Hightower, they wasn't getting Travis Fulgham, they weren't getting the snaps. They didn't get the snaps, so you couldn't even see them in a large sample size. And then on top of that, you got to give these guys momentum. You can't just throw them out there and say get open. Come on, man. Especially since they weren't top tier, talented guys coming out of their respective draft classes. And I think Travis Fulgham was undrafted, right?
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what he does, with this new coaching staff and his continued development with Jalen. And I think we haven't even begun to see what Travis Fulgham could do. So
bro, he has the physical intangibles.
It broke my heart to see him, lose playing time after Alshon came back last year. It was really, really frustrating, and I hated to see that, because he was playing so good and putting so much effort out there. The kid was balling.
You can't fake it. It's, this is going to be such an important year for the Eagles, man. We really need to see a lot of guys take that next step, not just not just on the field, but we also need to see guys take that next step as far as leadership. Who's our leader? Let's think about it. Let's really think about it. Offense side of the ball. If Jalen Hurts is the starter, he's obviously going to be the leader. But defensive side, okay, we got veterans on that side of the ball, but Fletcher Cox was never really the leader guy. He was more so see what I do, follow my lead. Brandon Graham, he gets you excited. He's an energy guy. Darius Slay, he's more so the same type of, hey, listen, follow my lead versus, a talker. So who's the leader? Who's gonna establish the culture of the defense? And that's why I feel like you can find a guy in this draft to do that. You can find a guy that's going to bring that swagger to your defense. The guy that's going to bring that moxie, that demon slayer attitude. You know what I'm saying? We need a guy that's going to bring respect. A guy that's going to strike fear into you when he's on the field. That's why I want a guy like Micah Parsons. I want a guy maybe like J.C. Horn. A guy that's going to bring that swagger. We need that on defense.
We do, and then we've definitely been lacking that, especially since Malcolm Jenkins left. He was definitely our leader on defense. Especially through the Super Bowl run and things like that. But yeah, we haven't had a leader in the middle of the defense probably since. I mean, Hicks wasn't on the team long enough really to establish himself as a leader. I would say you're talking about middle of the field as linebacker goes. I mean, we really haven't had a leader since Jeremiah Trotter, in the middle of the field.
Or we haven't had a leader since, Brian Dawkins, we haven't had Brian Dawkins, but we had a leader in the D-backs with Michael Jenkins. I take that back. But like you said, the middle of the field, the shallow part of the field, out of the linebacker core.
Right.
Who's really been that leader? We haven't had that guy in such a long time. We haven't had a dominant linebacker in such a long time. It's ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
Right. That's why a pick like Parsons would be so long overdue for this team. And yeah, it would surprise the hell out of me and probably surprise the hell out of a lot of other Eagle fans. But, crazier things have happened. And if he's there at 12, I say pull the trigger. And
that's why I don't want them to overthink it. I do not want them to overthink this draft. You don't have to.
I will take Michael Parsons over a Jalen Waddle any day of the week.
Right, because you can still get a good wide receiver in the second round, Elijah Moore, who looks fantastic.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, Elijah Moore reminds me a lot of Tyreek Hill, his skill set.
I'm telling you, whoever gets him, bro, whoever gets him and whoever they play, they're gonna pay. Because I was watching Elijah Moore's it was his footage of him, doing one-on-one drills, and as far as footwork, bro, his footwork is insane. Like his speed off the line of scrimmage is insane.
It really is. His initial burst is amazing.
Crazy. And then on top of that, you got a big body like Terrace Marshall Jr. You know what I'm saying? Or you can wait, or you can wait deeper in the draft, get a guy, get a gem in the Tamorian Terry. I'm real high on him. The Eagles have even been looking at, the running back, Kylan Hill. He was good in college. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, moving back to the first round, Jeremiah Owasu Kamara, like he would do, like I said, he's a big culture guy. He would I love the way he carries himself. He brings an accountability to the defensive, to the defensive side of the ball. He provides a level of accountability that I love in my defensive guy, that I will love in my linebacker. Like I said, he's not the biggest, but he would bring so much to the table. He would bring more than just physical skill set. He would provide, a presence. You know what I'm saying?
He would.
And I really don't want Howie Roseman to overthink this draft, especially the first round. Do not overthink it. You're at if you decide to stay at 12, which I doubt, but if you decide to stay at 12, just pick the best guy available, please. Because you can't go wrong, really. You can't go wrong. If you choose J.C. Horn, I won't be upset. If you choose Surtain, if he's there, I won't be upset. You choose Michael Parsons, I won't be upset. You know, you choose Devontae Smith. I won't be upset. You know what I'm saying? It's just don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know Kwity Paye is going to be amazing. I know he is, and I know pass rushers are in short supply in this draft. But if they're in short supply in this draft, that means they're coming in the follow-up drafts. So you don't have to get Kwity Paye in the first round. You don't have to. You don't have to. You still got Brandon Graham coming back. You still got Fletcher Cox on that D line. You got Javon Hargrave, Josh Sweat, Derek Barnett. Josh Sweat is going to take that next step. I'm telling you. Josh Sweat is going to, he's going to start at the Brandon Graham leaves or retires. I'm telling you. Josh Sweat is going to take that next step. He had a year last year, even though the team was bad as a whole. He had an amazing year.
No, Josh Sweat is definitely an up and coming pass rusher. That's for sure. And yeah, Derek Barnett, he needs to start earning his keep because he's making $10 million this year. So he's got to stay on the field and show us that he could be productive consistently. So yeah, and like you said, we don't need to reach and try to get. I think we would be making a mistake to take a defensive end that high in the draft.
Big time.
If we're going defense, it's got to be linebacker or corner at 12. So do you think we're not done moving as far as draft position? Do you think we're gonna? You think we're not picking at 12?
You see, the reason I say that is because, or the reason I believe that is the fact they made this move so early. Let's be honest. If they waited until draft night, they probably would have got a haul for that pick. They probably got a haul, but they're trying to maneuver. You know what I'm saying? And also, once they probably saw that they could probably get Miami's first round pick from next year, they probably like, okay, yeah, that's actually a good deal. That gives us flexibility. We're still drafting in the top 12, top 13. We can still get a quality guy. Even if we don't get a wide receiver, we still have young, untapped talent in our wide receiver cores already. We can get a legit corner at 12. So I'm thinking like, okay, what are they thinking really? Howie's gearing up for something big, and I don't know what it is. He's gearing up for something, but my thing is, whatever he does, it can't set us back. It can't set us back. It has to still provide us flexibility. I don't want us to lose, future draft picks. Future first round draft picks. Whatever he does to move back up in that top 10, if he decides to do that, the move has to make sense. It has to. And then the pick has to make sense as well.
That's why I was glad, if there was any validity to the Eagles moving up as opposed to moving back, I'm glad that they didn't, if there was any validity to that, because that would have meant that we were going to have to give away some of this draft equity that we have. And we're not in any position to be doing that. We have to be stocking the cupboard as opposed to going on, an eating spree. We have to be preparing, for the future and rebuilding this team through the draft. And we do that with draft capital, which we have quite a bit of now, which is a good thing.
Yeah, man. Like I keep saying, man, I know people was upset about the move, but the amount of capital we just received back, it honestly doesn't make me feel bad about losing out on, the guy that decided to go to the Colts. I'm like, foregone conclusion. I'm not even thinking about the dude. Like it's like we have a chance to really flip this roster quickly if we draft quickly.
Yeah. And that's what everyone's on pins and needles about, right? Because when nobody trusts Howie at this point, and with due cause, because he's shown again and again that he's not able to be the best GM when it comes to drafting the right person on the board when our number is called. But in the same token, I'm kind of in the back of my mind too, I'm thinking, well, if Howie does not hit a home run with this draft, but we still end up with 3 first round picks next year, and we're gonna have more draft, we're gonna have more cap space available next year. So to me, that would make the position of GM with the Philadelphia Eagles very, very attractive to a new candidate if Howie was to be shown the door.
Right.
So we have to keep that in the back of our minds too. That Jeffrey Lurie could be possibly stocking the cupboards for a GM switch next year.
That's it. And that's another thing too. Howie may be thinking, hey, I set us up perfectly, but at the same time, if Howie screws up, in the same token, we still have capital for whoever comes in next. We have flexibility as long as he don't fumble those picks as well. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I want to go over our previous draft history with you because it's been lackluster. In totality.
Right.
I'm going to start with 2015. So in 2015, we drafted Nelson Aguilar in the first round, Eric Rowe, Jordan Hicks, Ja'Cory Shepard, Randall Evans, Brian Mihalik. Okay, those last three guys, who the hell are they?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then Eric Rowe made a career with the Patriots. Jordan Hicks. He was good, but he couldn't stay healthy. That was the problem.
Right.
Aguilar, the dude is hit or miss. Honestly, he had a career year during the Super Bowl year. Then he dropped back off. Then he went to the Raiders and had a good year because they had injuries and he had to step in and he earned more playing time, which I respect. Then he earned a solid contract from the New England Patriots. Who he signed the Patriots, right?
Yeah, he got the
so
he went with the Green Goblin to New England.
Exactly. So it's like, okay, Nelson Aguilar, I'm not mad about losing out on him. Then 2016,
right.
we draft Carson Wentz in the first, Isaac Samalu, Wendell Smallwood, Big V, Blake Countess, who was that? Jalen Mills, Alex McAllister, who's that? Joe Walker, who's that? You know what I'm saying? Granted, for where we drafted Jalen Mills, I got to be honest, we got a decent return on that. For where we drafted him. We drafted him in the 7th round. And I feel like just thinking about it like that, he kind of overachieved.
Yeah, he did because he definitely started, he definitely started in the in the NFL and for multiple years and won a Super Bowl, contributed. Yeah, we got the defense, especially the secondary, got roasted like a pig at a luau in the Super Bowl by Tom Brady and company, but we still walked away with hardware and being a 7th round pick, I definitely think he is definitely overachieved in this league, and I think he's talented. I always thought he was a bit overrated. He was a little too much cockiness, a little too much swag for my taste.
Right. But being honest though, at the time, in hindsight, I forgot he was a 7th rounder. I really forgot. So, let's be honest, a 7th round corner, he's not supposed to be where he was. He's not supposed to get, he's not even supposed to get that kind of contract from New England.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, he definitely has far surpassed a lot of draft people who were scouting him coming into the draft definitely did not think he was going to have as much success in the NFL as he's had, and he definitely has succeeded in the NFL. And that's the thing too. A lot of people overlook things like that. Yeah, he may not have been, put him on an island type of corner, a shutdown corner in the NFL, but when you could take a 7th round pick like that and you could put him into your defense and he could be a pretty solid starter for multiple years, a lot of people tend to overlook that when it comes to Howie Roseman and his drafting and things like that. And I am not a Howie Roseman fan whatsoever. Let's make that clear. Don't get it twisted. But he has made a few good selections along the way. Not very many. There's obviously been way more bad than good, but that's a good spotlight of a 7th round pick that stuck around for a minute, definitely, and was productive.
Right, and a lot of people are saying the fact that he was really good in the red zone. That's one thing I can say. The shorter the field was, the better Jalen Mills was. I'll give you. The shorter the field was, the better he was. And
Oh, absolutely. Because what was Jalen Mills' Achilles heel was the double move, right?
yes,
He always got burnt by the double move.
time. Because he was so aggressive.
Right.
So he would bite.
But he didn't have the speed. Move. He didn't have the speed at the top end to keep up with some of the receivers in the sleeve.
Right. So even if you bite on the double move, you got to be able to recover. He couldn't recover.
He couldn't
recover.
Nope.
Now transitioning to the 2017 draft, first round we drafted Derek Barnett at 14.
He's the only one left on the team.
Sidney Jones,
gone.
Rasul Douglas, gone. Mac Hollins, gone. And we drafted him in the 4th round. I expect a little more from him. Donnell Pumphrey, gone. Shelton Gibson, gone. Nathan Gary, thank God he's gone. Elijah Quayle, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just
D-lineman.
Right, D tackle, right? Like, and I feel like Derek Barnett, he still has a chance. He still has a chance to. Let's be honest. Derek Barnett is still young. Derek Barnett is, how old is he? My man is
24.
He's 24. He's 24. Now, I know I've been down on Derek Barnett. I'm not going to act like I wasn't. I'm not going to flip-flop you guys. I'm not going to act like I wasn't down on D Barnett. I've been down on him for a couple years because I feel like he should have been doing more. My man Joey, what's good, baby boy? How you feeling?
Joey.
But like, I feel like Barnett should have been doing way more given where he was drafted. And granted, he was an undersized DN. He was undersized and he dealt with injuries. So my thing is, what happens if we get a legit healthy Derek Barnett, a fully healthy Derek Barnett that's in shape? Let's be honest. When you're hurt like that, it's hard for you to maintain football shape. It's hard. When you're constantly hurt like that and the type of injuries he's dealt with, it's hard to stay in football shape. So what happens if we get a healthy, fully in shape Derek Barnett? Because he has the skill set. He has a bull rush. He has a legit bull rush. You know what I'm saying? So like having a fully healthy Derek Barnett, and then having a fully healthy Josh Sweat who's going to take that next step. Those guys can fill in for Brandon Graham, when he retires. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, if those guys actually make that next step this year, that tells you that gives you more flexibility with your draft. You can fill other holes because let's be honest, we're going to have to rebuild this D line in the next couple years. Fletcher Cox, he's getting up there. I highly doubt we'll keep Javon Hargrave for his entire contract unless he plays to it. Hassan Ridgeway, he's always a swing guy. He's always on the year-to-year type of deal. So
I was glad to see him. Glad to see him back. Ridgeway, he's been a productive rotation guy on the D line. I was definitely glad to see him re-up.
He's been hurt, but he's definitely come in and gotten sacks. He's come in and gotten QB hits. He's come in and gotten tackles for loss. He's been hurt, but he has had moments when he's come in and did his thing. He has. And also, you guys, make sure you like the video, please. It helps the content move. The more you guys like this video, the better it helps the YouTube algorithms, and the more people we get in this live stream, the more active the chat is going to be. We're going to get some other rivals in this thing. You know what I'm saying? So literally, I'm telling you, you guys like the live stream because it's going to really, really help this live stream, this live chat go up. And the more people got in the live chat, the more the more stuff we're gonna keep on talking, man. The more tea we're gonna spill. You feel me?
That's right.
We're gonna spill, man. Shout out to my man. So real quick, I want to shout out some people that's in the live stream showing love. Shout out my man at Eagle, man. I really appreciate you, my man. Shout out Eagle Slayer. Shout out Philly Talk Podcast featuring Philly Mike, my guy, big time, man. I appreciate you for coming through showing love, man. I appreciate you. Timothy Miller, Matt Weeks. You know what I'm saying? Eagle Slayer, random Anton, Joey Shakes. What else, my man? Cameron Holmes, Nikki Steeds coming through. Janetti, always showing me love. Marion Johnson. Who else? We going in? We going to Philly the podcast came through to show love. Philly Joyle. Scoob Doo, Moochie Robinson, Rashawn Sanders.
I see Moochie in earlier.
You know what I'm saying? Like we got so many people in this live stream that's showing love, man. And like without you guys, the content is not possible. Please, please, please go lock in on my man, Philly Foothills, the Nest Out West. Go lock in the subscriptions. The links, all the links are down below in the descriptions, you guys. Go lock in on my man, the Nest Out West. He is coming. He is coming with that hot fire, that Philly Fuego. You feel me? He's coming with that hot fire. You know what I'm saying? He's coming for it. You gotta bring out the mask. You gotta bring out the mask. Bring out the mask. Philly, the alter ego is here. You know what I'm saying?
Philly Fuego is in the building.
Big
What
time.
is going on, Mr. Deshields?
My man, Philly Fuego. Listen, my man. You know what's that thing you normally say about the Cowboys and the Giants and the football team? You say, well, how does the intro go again?
The football team has no name. the Giants fans have no shame. And it's been literally Batman forever since the Cowboys won the big game.
Bro, you can't make this up, man. You guys gotta lock in on my man, the Nest Out West. I'm telling you, the Nest Out West. Lock in on Chalk It Up. Tone Deshields II if you haven't already. I'm always grateful for newcomers. I'm always grateful for you guys commenting on my videos as well, because you guys challenge me. You guys hold me accountable. You guys keep me locked in, and y'all never let me slip, man. Truly. And the support is literally to die for, man. I love you guys so much, and we're going up, man. We're all on me and my man Philly Foothills, aka the Nest Out West. We're on the road to 1K, man. Get us there. We're coming. We're coming,
Absolutely.
man. We're
yes. Coming. I just recently, the Nest Out West just recently went over 500 subscriptions. So
yes,
very much thankful, and I appreciate all the love and support that we've gotten so far for the channel. And yeah, you guys just can continue to check it out. I'm dropping content all the time. And yeah, if you guys haven't done so already, like and subscribe to my man Tone Deshields. Chalk It Up. Great content. He's always bringing it real and keeping it live. So yes, absolutely. We appreciate, and we couldn't do it without you guys. You guys are, the blood. You guys are the oxygen and the food to our channels. Without you, it does not survive. So yes, very much appreciated. Thank you so much.
Man, for sure, man. Because let's be honest, it's so many of us doing this content thing, especially Eagles, man. And let's just keep it real. There's no sports content creators like Eagles content creators, man. There's no one like us. There's no content creators that holds their organizations accountable like we do. You know what I'm saying? There's no one out here that really does, what we like. I'm sorry, we go so hard, and on top of that, we actually support each other. That's the biggest thing I love. We actually support each other. I support, shout out to guys like Nikki Steves, shout out to guys like, Laura Brunson, Joey Shakes, Philly the podcast, Philly Mike from the Philly Talk podcast,
Robinson,
DJ Eastwood from running back Philly, Philly Take What RB, Philly Notion, Philly Fresh. You know what I'm saying? Philly 500. Those guys show me mad love, man. This content just moves, and we all got our own flavor. That's the thing. We all got our own flavor. We all come with that fuego. You feel me? And at the end of the day, we all do this for the love. We all do this for the pure fandom, and we're all trying to grow. We're all trying to take not only, our channels to the next level, but we're all trying to take our careers to the next levels. We're all trying to change not just our own lives, but our families' lives. And you guys help with that. You guys don't understand how much you guys mean to the channels, mean to the content moving forward. Without you guys, nothing is possible. Nothing is possible, man. Understand that. The more you guys feel that, the better the content will be, man. I promise you guys. The more you guys invest in us, the more we're going to invest in the people, first and foremost.
Couldn't have said it better myself, man. We're always, I always love collabing with other people, especially Tone. I've enjoyed. We've done multiple collabs together already, and enjoyed each and every one of them. And yes, we're always wanting to pay it forward and help love and support everybody else's channels as well as our own. So yeah, we are definitely a strong fam on this, on the social media. I've gotten so much love from Twitter, and the YouTube is just blowing up too. So yeah, you guys just keep it going, and we'll always be here whenever you guys need us. So just you can rely on no matter what.
Big time, man. Big time, man. Like, and like I said, man, you guys make this worthwhile. I tell you, man, you guys, I love you guys so much, man. Sometimes my wife thinks I love you guys more than her, man. Like that's how crazy this gets sometimes. Sometimes she peek out the room and say, are you done? And I'm like, no, I'm not. The people still want me here, and I'm gonna keep on feeding them and feeding them and feeding them. You dig? So it is what it is, man. But let's get back to our previous draft classes, man. In 2018, uh looking back on that 2018 draft. I was upset about the fact that we didn't get as many players. But when you think about that 2018 draft, not that bad of a return. You got Dallas Goedert in the second round. You got Avonte Maddox, who actually is better suited in the slot if you want to maximize his productiveness.
Right.
Josh Sweat, who is going to be a beast. I feel like he's coming. Matt Pryor, I don't like him at all. He just can't. He can't stop up. He can't stop up a leak. He can't stop a leak, man. Like, and then Jordan Mailata, that was a steal in the seventh round. That was a steal in the seventh round, bro. That was a steal because his physical intangibles are uncanny. His speed at that position, his flexibility at that position, coming from rugby, insane, bro. Insane.
And that's where a lot of people doubted whether he was going to be able to make that transition, having not as much experience with playing football, coming from rugby. But he was an absolute steal, and he's definitely he surprised me last year. He, especially as much as he struggled in camp and things like that with his development and his progression, and then to step up like he did, and be a pretty solid left tackle. I was impressed with the kid, and he's definitely an asset for us going forward, and something, a player that we can definitely build around for the future.
Right.
He's got a very important position, blocking for the quarterback's blind side. So he's got to keep up that top level of play, especially against some of these, top end pass rushers, like we have in our even in our division. So yeah, he's got his work cut out for him, but I definitely think he's up to the task.
For sure, man, for sure. And transitioning to the 2019 draft, we picked up Andre Dillard, who I was actually high on at the time. I was high on Dillard at the time. I was extremely high on Dillard, and because at the time coming into the draft, he was the top rated pass protector in that draft. He was the top rated pass protector in that draft, and he should have been way better. But at the same time, let's be honest. The Eagles allowed veteran presence. They allowed the presence of veterans to supersede development. And when you draft a left tackle that high, they drafted him at pick 22. You drafted him in the first round. He has to start day one. You got to start him day one. And then on top of that, when you do throw him in, at right tackle. That's stunning his growth. Like he got lit up at the right tackle spot. Lit up.
He did, because he's never really played that position at a high level. I mean, he's never had enough. He's never been giving enough reps at that position. He's obviously came into the league as a left tackle, and if outside of guys who are outrageously out of this world, athletically gifted, and are ambidextrous, or whatever it's called when you're both right and left-handed.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, when you get a guy, when you put a guy out of position like that, you're going to expose him, and they did, and it had a big effect on his development. It really did, and it got it. You could tell it got in his mind too.
Right.
And once that happens, that's a big problem.
Yeah, especially on the O-line. And then he was getting overpowered a lot. Like he was getting overpowered a lot. Even when he had position, he would get overpowered. And that was one of my biggest gripes with him. Like, dude, hit the weight room, bro. He looks not like he doesn't look soft. He looks soft. Like Mailata looks like a brick. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then on top of that, when Mailata was physical with you, he made sure you felt him until the whistle blew. Every time he'll get you in the dirt, and he wouldn't even let you come up for air. Wouldn't even let you come up for air.
Yeah, that's that rugby player in him.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
just hard nosed. Definitely, I love it. Yeah, we need that. We need that mindset on our offensive line. You know, we got to be able to, because we know that's where a lot of games are won and lost is in the trenches. And when you can have a dominant offensive line who's in a really positive mindset and they're attacking people out there on
Right,
the field, it's it opens up so much for you and it makes the game so much easier. You know, it all starts up front.
I
It
agree.
really does.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Like, one of the guys in the stream, they mentioned Jonathan Adams, the wide receiver out of Arkansas State, 6'3", 210 pounds, a physical specimen. Let's be honest, 6'3" or 210. That's a big body to have. I don't know too much about him. At Eagle, can you give me a little, in the live chat, definitely give me some insight on him. Tell me a little about him because I don't know too much about him. I don't know too much
Who
about
is
him at all.
who is he talking about again?
There's a wide receiver, Jonathan Adams from Arkansas State. He's asking our opinion about him, but I don't really know too much about him. I don't want to give a crazy take on him, and I don't really know too much about his skill
Right.
and what he does and how good he was in Arkansas State. But
Yeah.
it's like the thing is, this draft is so important, and just transitioning. Like I said, we had got Andre Dillard in the first round. Then we got Miles Sanders, who was a steal in the second round. Then
Right.
then JJ Arthur-Whiteside, who actually we actually should have, that's one
We
thing I
all
wish.
know who we should have took.
We could have returned that. I wouldn't have stole that if somebody paid me to. And then we picked up.
Right.
And then we got Sharif Miller, who kind of didn't really, really take that next step. And then Clayton Thorson at quarterback. Who is he? You know what I'm saying? So 2019
Right.
was really, let's be honest, only one player really was able to show anything from that draft, and it was Miles Sanders. And then he had an amazing rookie year, had a down year last year due to poor coaching. And then going into the 2020 draft, where I really thought we would be able to make that that rotation in terms of poor drafting, and
Yeah.
we got Jalen Reagor in the first round. I'll be honest, I wanted Justin Jefferson, but at the same time, I say, you know what, I'm gonna give a kid a chance. I'm not gonna hate on him. I'm not gonna hate on him.
Right.
I'm gonna give him a chance. I looked up tape and I was like, okay, I like what he does. He goes up and gets it. I like he's physical, but nonetheless, Jalen Reagor didn't really pan out the first year. Let's see what he does this year. He has to break out this year. Then
He
we got
does.
Jalen Hurts in the second round. I'll stand by this till the day I die. That was a bad pick at that time. At that time, that was a very counterproductive
Right.
pick. I'll stand by that. But here's our quarterback right now, and I'm standing by him right now. Then we got Davion Taylor and Kevon Wallace. I'm really high on Davion Taylor and Kevon Wallace. I really expect them guys to take the leap. Then we got Jack Driscoll, John Hightower. I'm really high on Driscoll. I
Yep.
expect Hightower and Driscoll to take that next step. Then we got Sean Bradley at linebacker as well. Sean Bradley, I feel like he's a steal. I just feel like he needs the opportunity. Then we got Quez Watkins, Prince Tega Winogo, and then Casey Toohill. We no longer have Prince Tega, and we no longer have Casey Toohill. I feel like we gave up on Casey Toohill too soon.
Me too.
But Quez Watkins, that's a good pick. Like again, I really feel like we gave him on Casey Toohill too soon, way too soon, man, way too soon.
We still have we still have Joe Otzman under contract, right?
I
I believe
believe
we do.
I believe so. I can find out for us right now. Give me one sec, because we need we at some point we're going to need to really retool this D line. It has to
Right.
it has to happen. And
Yeah,
so
Joe Otzman's still under contract with the Eagles.
okay.
Yeah. He's another he's another guy with some untapped potential at the defensive end position. So I'm excited to see possibly where he kind of goes in his development with his
Yep.
next year under his name.
We still got that Australian guy, Matt Leo.
Yeah, that's right. We do. Yep.
Yeah, he's a physical specimen as well. The dude is 6'8", 280. So I don't know if he might be better suited at D tackle. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a bigger guy.
Right.
So I mean, who knows at the end of the day? But we definitely need a lot of work. This draft has to be the one. This kid, like Howie Roseman, is drafting for his job at this point.
Oh, he has to be. And if he's not, then I don't know. Then if he's not, then Jeffrey Lurie has to think about selling this team, because if you're gonna let personal feelings, personal attachments to a person such as Howie Roseman get in the way of this organization being a top tier organization in this league and not be a damn laughing stock, when it comes to the draft and things like that, then he's got to have Howie on a short leash. This has got to be it for Howie. If Howie doesn't absolutely knock this draft out of the park, then we have to be in the market for a new GM. We have to, because we're getting nowhere fast, and he's proven that.
Big time, big time. And just going back to what Eagle asked us about Jonathan Adams, he says Adams, he said he's what J.J. Arcega-Whiteside should have been. Big box out wide receiver, ran a 4.44, ran a 4.40, and has hands like Calvin Johnson. Not comparing him to Calvin Johnson, but he is definitely a 50-50 catcher. He says it would be a solid second or third round pick, just not sure where he is projected to go. Okay, that's good. That's good news. See, the thing about JJ, he was supposed to be that 50-50 guy in the red zone. That was supposed to be his bread and butter. But now here's a fair question. Now, do you think JJ Arcega-Whiteside's lack of development or inability to really make a difference on game day, do you put that more so on him, or more so on? Do you put his lack of development more so on him, or more so on the coaching staff? Because let's be honest, that Doug Peterson coaching staff couldn't develop anybody.
Right. And I kind of, that's another thing that's kind of to be determined. But I would tend to probably put it more on the coaching staff because of like you just said, the overall lack of development. Like if there was other young guys developing around, JJ and he wasn't, then that would be one thing. But there really hasn't been, especially this past year. Rieger didn't really develop, didn't really pan out like we were hoping him to, especially in his first year. And Quez barely got on the field, and Hightower definitely has some raw talent, but definitely needs to be coached up quite a bit. So I would definitely, at this point, as much as there still is some to be determined, but I would probably put it more on the coaching at this point. And that's why I think, there's still a possibility. And I say, and when I say that, I'm not putting too much, stock into that, but there is still a possibility of JJ Arcega-Whiteside possibly being a productive player in this league. That's if this new coaching staff isn't able to do anything with him, then he's obviously a bust, and he's probably not gonna go anywhere, and he's not gonna pan out for anybody at that point. But on the other hand, if Sirianni and company can get something out of him, then that's going to make them look even better. That's going to make them look like gurus, especially at the wide receiver position.
Right, because in all fairness, when the ball did come to Jeff Whiteside's way, he caught it. That's one thing I can say. He caught it. Like I was one thing I can say, when the ball did come his way, he did catch it. One of his weaknesses was getting separation. But I think at the same time, some of the routes they had him running, it was like that's not what he's supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? And just bouncing over what Ag Eagle saying about Jalen Reagor, I really believe that Jalen Reagor will eat in the slot. I feel like he can really eat because he's about 5'11", but he's a solid body. He can. I think he can take the physical toll that comes with being a slot wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? Now the question is, let's be honest. This is going to be, especially if we draft a wide receiver in the first round this year, this is going to be a competitive wide receiver room. This is going to be competitive because
a lot of young guys.
You're only going to dress about maybe 4 or 5 on game day, and then maybe only 3 of them are going to touch the field, and then you may rotate based on scheme and what the player doing. But and then if you go empty backfield, let's be honest, Nick Sirianni comes from the school of 2 tight ends. So don't be surprised, man. Like don't be surprised. Like I really feel like if we, like I said, it's gonna be competitive. It's gonna be so competitive, man. I really can't wait. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like this Eagles team this coming season needs to be on Hard Knocks. It needs to be on Hard Knocks. Like this Like
That would be legit.
this season coming off that last year, this season has to be on Hard Knocks. I'm telling you, like, because this is going to be so competitive in that wide receiver room. It's going to be so competitive, man.
Yeah, and I just seen a comment of someone about JJ and the umbrella, and to me that whole thing with his mom being on the sideline,
Not a good
with
look.
Holding the umbrella over him, that has a lot to me. That has a lot to do with coaching too, because they are allowing that. They're allowing that to happen. They're allowing that to take place at their practice facility, on their practice field. When if I was a coach, that wouldn't be happening. There wouldn't be any moms out there holding umbrellas over any of my players. If you don't want the sunlight, you don't want the possible radiation you get from the sun, then you shouldn't be playing football, because this is an outdoor sport, and
Exactly.
there's a lot of things your body's going to be exposed to in this world, and the sun is not really on the top of the list when it comes to a football player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When it comes to guys on my sideline, I want them to be focused, tough, and if they're not on the field practicing, they need to be watching and taking it in like a sponge, and trying to absorb everything they can on the sideline while they're watching. So
Right.
Just that's another thing too, that I think if we do get a Devontae Smith, him being such a talented route runner, he could really teach Jalen Reagor a thing or two when it comes to that, because that's been kind of one of Jalen Reagor's downsides, is his route running crispness and things like that. So
right.
even being a rookie, he's a Heisman Trophy winner, and he's definitely proven. So Devontae Smith, I think, would be a huge addition to the wide receiver room. And you're 100% right when you say it's going to be competitive, because it absolutely will be.
Right.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Let's be honest. We all know Jalen Reagor is going to start because he's the first round pick from last year. He's going to start. But beyond that,
there's too much invested in him.
Exactly. So beyond that, those guys are literally Greg Ward. Remember, he's been the de facto slot guy for us, and he's been reliable. He's not the fastest, but he runs his route, and he gets open, and he catches the ball every time it comes his way. So Greg Ward has built in he's established a level of availability and reliability, because he doesn't get hurt either. He's been healthy. So he's established himself to be one of the more reliable guys on the on the roster, when it comes to wide receivers. So a lot of those young guys are going to have to beat him out as well. You know what I'm saying? But Ward is a slot guy. So my thing is, if Jalen Reagor goes to that slot, if Jalen Reagor goes to that slot, Greg Ward automatically, you know what I'm saying? Like, because let's be honest, he doesn't have the speed like Quez Watkins. You're not throwing deep balls. To Greg Ward. And it would suck to see him go back to practice squad, but this is going to be such a competitive year this year. Like, everyone's fighting for something this year. Everyone. But Cam says, so Quez Watkins or Jalen Reagor in the slot. I got to be honest with you, bro. I really don't know. I can't even give you an answer, Cam. I really can't.
Cam, if it was me, I would have Quez on the outside. I mean, if you're gonna have the starting three at receiver of Travis Fulgham, Quez Watkins, and Jalen Reagor, I'll put Reagor in the slot and have TG13 and Quez on the other side, on the outside, and have them do their thing, because I think Reagor's going to have more success in the slot going against more nickel corners and safeties and things like that.
Yeah, man. Like, I like that, because let's be honest, Travis Fulgham, he has the physical measurables that you want in your outside guy. He's 6'2", you know what I'm saying? Over 200 pounds, lengthy. He goes up and gets it. He has potential to really be a legit wide receiver in this NFL, a reliable one at that, because he has good hands. You saw those drops in the later.
And he's built like your typical X receiver, like you just said. He's got that physical stature.
Exactly. Definitely. And you saw those little drops in the end of the year, but I solely put that on the fact that he wasn't given the grass time. And your hands are cold, your hands get stiff. You know what I'm saying? Like when you ain't catching that football, like, you know, all of a sudden you tell them to go deep and catch. Nah, that's not fair. It's not fair at all, man. It's not fair at all. Not fair at all. Like this is gonna be exciting, man. Like I said, like this season should definitely be a candidate for Hard Knocks. I don't see why not, because you know a new not just this young roster, but you got an entirely new coaching staff, a young coaching staff. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see these guys. I would love to see these guys like on Hard Knocks, man. I would love to you know hear the personality of Kevon Wallace on Hard Knocks. I would love to see the personality of our new rookie, if it's Jesse Horn or Hard Knocks. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see Jalen Rager or Hard Knocks. I would love to see Miles Sanders or Hard Knocks. You know what I'm saying? Like
Travis Kelce on Hard Knocks.
Travis Kelce Hard Knocks. You know, I would love to see that. I would love to see the conversations these guys are going. Jalen Hurts on Hard Knocks. I would love it. It'd be honestly the ratings would be really good. It'd be really good. I'm not saying it because I'm a fan. Like I'm saying it because like we really think about the narrative surrounding this team the past year and losing the other guy to the Colts. It's a recipe for in other people's eyes, it was a recipe for disaster. But looking at the assets we've accumulated and looking at the way this team is going to be constructed, potentially, there's a chance this team could really, smack some people in the mouth, man. Surprisingly, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. And I think you're right, though. I think this would be this new team, this new coaching staff would be a great candidate for Hard Knocks, because coaches like the new defensive line coach, Coach Rocker. That guy's got a good personality, and he gets fired up, and he would definitely be entertaining to watch. So I'm excited definitely to see what him and Jonathan Gannon, man, that guy. Every time I hear him talk, like Philly 500 says, I'm ready to strap on the pads and play for him, because that guy gets me fired up.
Yes,
when I hear Jonathan Gannon talk.
You saw how excited he was when Anthony Harris walked in that building. He was like, let's go. Like he was like, bro, like seriously. And Cam, you're right. Greg Ward, in my opinion, he's established himself as a reliable option at wide receiver. I think he'll get a nice little 2-3 year deal somewhere. 2-3 year deal, maybe on $9 million, like $10 million 3-year deal. Like I wouldn't be like he can definitely get a nice little bag somewhere else. But yeah,
absolutely.
Like Jonathan Gannon gets me fired up, bro. Like Rocker gets me fired up. You know what I'm saying? Like the new running back coach. Did you see some film with him like on the sideline? Yeah, he gets me fired up.
Oh yeah, yep. This new coaching staff's going to be good, and like he just said, I was going to mention that when you said about Greg Ward possibly going back to the practice squad, I was going to say that too. That he definitely could get paid somewhere else. I agree. Greg Ward he's shown that he can be consistent, especially in the slot in this league, and he'd be a really good weapon for anybody out there. Really, I mean, he's a plug and play guy. He's a smart kid. He learns plays fairly quickly, and he definitely could get his money elsewhere if the Eagles weren't wanting to.
We meant Jason Kelce. My bad. That's the brother.
I know. I caught it right after we said it too. I was like,
oh wait, that don't add up. Yeah, I'm mad. You're so crazy because I was hoping nobody noticed it, right? but
we meant Cameron. We meant. You know who we meant.
We meant Big Bro. We talking about Big Bro. My bad, man.
Right. We talk about the bearded genie. We know who we meant.
Yeah, Nikki. Good point, Nikki. That's a good point. I really hope it wouldn't be a distraction if we made Hard Knocks. I really hope it wouldn't be a distraction. But given this new coaching staff, I don't, if I'm taking an educated guess, I don't think they will let it.
I don't think they probably would either, because they wouldn't want anybody to get any kind of insights on what kind of offense they're going to run, things like that too. I think maybe next year, after the first year of Sirianni and things like that, maybe possibly, but yeah, I don't know if they'd be too interested in opening the doors for the cameras. Right. As a compelling a TV as it would make, I agree, but yeah, I don't know how willing the coaches would be willing to do that.
Right, I feel you. And then just responding to what Eagle Slayer is saying, and also Cam Holmes, neither of these guys are really high on Rager, right? And I'll be honest with you guys, like I'm not mad at y'all. I'm not mad at that sentiment, because Quez Watkins, in my opinion, showed you the bigger flash, right? You saw Quez, like, let's be honest, Jalen Reagor sees the talk that people were saying about him when it comes to Quez Watkins potentially being better than him at some point. You know what I'm saying? And
Oh yeah.
at one point I was like, damn, like Quez made it seem like the better wide receiver. Like Quez touched that ball for the first time and he took it to the house.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a BS thing. He caught it on the screen. He bounced outside, did that spin, and his ability to just beeline to the bro, they couldn't catch him. Like, and it wasn't like he had all that. It was tight. And he just beeline, bro.
And then to me, that's why I would rather have Reagor as the third option at receiver because
right.
In the slot because at that point too, to me his strength, a lot of Reagor's strength is special teams, especially punt returns. And if you have him in the slot, then you could, you could maybe have him return some punts too, and give him a chance to, give him another opportunity to have the ball in his hands in open space and see what he can do. Because, special teams, not only special teams touchdowns, but when you could flip the field on special teams, that's huge sometimes in games and
big time.
Especially if it's more
underrated. It's huge. Field position is huge. How often
Right.
were we starting? How often were we starting at the 10-yard line or further back? How often did we start there at the 2,
Right.
at the 5, at the 10? I feel like our offense was literally playing the whole field all the time, and then our defense couldn't get off the field.
Right.
So everybody was tired. That's probably why people was getting hurt like crazy.
Yeah, I agree. And I wasn't overly impressed with Cameron Johnston's punting last year. I know some people were sad to see him go and thought he was, a pretty good punter for us last year, but I wasn't overly impressed with him. And a lot of times I thought, he gave up some field position with some of his punts, not getting him out as far as he could and things like that.
Right.
And I think that we could probably find just as good of a punter or better out there. I think we already have a kid in house. I'm not sure exactly what his name is. I forget his name, but a punter is going to be a position we're going to have to address because we lost Cameron Johnston, and that, like we just said, the field position is big in this league, and having a good punter is important.
Right.
Definitely is.
Right. Now, at Eagle, I'm not sure if we still have Jordan Howard, but as far as Adrian Killins and Holyfield, I'm not going to lie. I'm expecting big things from Adrian Killins. Like, I feel like he has something to prove as well. I feel like Adrian Killins is that type of running back that you have to use him in certain schemes, certain situations. You line him up. You line him up on the line of scrimmage at wide receiver. I mean, in the slot or maybe wide out. He has that kind of speed. Like Adrian Killins' speed is literally deadly. If you
it's track star speed.
Bro, if you ever have you had the opportunity to see his film at UCF?
I don't think so. No, not that one specifically.
Whenever you get the chance, look up Adrian Killins' highlights at UCF. His speed jumps off the tape.
Yeah.
Speed is unreal. Unreal.
Yeah, and that's why I think that's why they brought him back too, because it's kind of rare you see speed like that, especially with his, he can catch the ball too. Like you said, you can line him up in the slot, outside of the backfield, things like that.
Right.
And yeah, I'm excited to see where that kid, where his development takes him, because he's another kind of untapped resource that, that could potentially do big things in this league. And I'm hoping too that, Holyfield gets his fair shake, too, because he's a bigger back that can, possibly, get us that short yardage when we need it. I think because that kid's built like his dad. He's built like a boxer. He's in great shape. He's really, really, really takes a lot of pride into his, into his body and his craft. So Holyfield's definitely going to be another name to look to keep our ears open for.
Yeah, for sure. And Cam, yeah, like, to respond to Cam real quick, bro. I love Breaking the Birds, bro. Like, I love his content. Like, he does an amazing job at, breaking down, like the film. Like, he does an amazing job, and he really approaches it from an objective point of view. And again, like, I love his content. I I actually found him on Twitter one day. Like I just saw I think he's from Denmark, but like he literally was dropping his content on Twitter as well, and I would just see him here. Now I'm like, yo, who is this guy? He is breaking this down tremendously. He had an amazing interview with, I want to say, Nate Herbig, and he was breaking down Herbig's time, rotating in on the old line and all that kind of stuff. And shout out to Breaking the Birds on his YouTube channel, man. He's a great content creator, Eagles content creator. Definitely dope, man. Definitely, man.
Absolutely.
I would definitely love to collab with him to pick his brain, because he's definitely more so on the X's and O's, and it's some things, it's some details of the game that that I just that aren't really my forte, I guess. But I love leaning on guys like Gate City Sports. I love leaning on guys like breaking Breaking the Birds, guys like that, like even Baldy's breakdowns. I lean on guys that break down the technicalities of the game like that. I really lean on that, and I pretty much what I do is I pretty much regurgitate what those guys say, and I flip it in my own way. You know what I'm saying? Like I really lean on those guys that really, because like I said, all us content creators, we have our way of breaking down the game.
Right.
And that's the thing I love about our, not just our fan base, but our community of content creators. We all have a unique way of breaking down the game, and we all bring our own energy and flavor. So you guys, as you already know, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more content, man. We've been live for about a little over 2 hours, man. I really appreciate you guys for coming in. We're gonna get out of here pretty soon.
Yes, sir.
Philly Foothills, the Nest Out West, my man. Is there any, is there any final words that you want to, throw out there? Any final takes, any final thoughts about this upcoming draft, about Howie Roseman, about this roster? I want you to just go in, just air it all out, man.
Well, I think we just kind of have to, just be patient. The draft is right around the corner. I know we all wish that it was tomorrow, and it'll be here before you know it. So just kind of, let's not lose our minds about the move back in the draft. Let's just kind of try to keep a logical mindset to it all, and just kind of see where this thing takes us. And if we, I'm just gonna kind of end it on this. If we do end up with 3 first-round picks next year, and we still get a playmaker at 12, then we're gonna love this draft come this time next year even more. We're gonna love this trade back and having these extra picks that much more this time come next year. So yeah, like Tone said, sub us both up, chalk it up with Tone Deshields and the Nest Out West with your boy, Philly Foothills.
Yes, sir.
I love and appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much for all the likes, comments, and subscribes, and just continue to watch our content, both of our channels, and share our videos with other Eagles fans, with your family, friends, all that good stuff. And you guys just be safe, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Yes, sir, man. And just building off with Philly Foothills, aka the Nest Out West, please go sub him up, man. We are both on the road to 1K. We are grinding, man. And the energy that we try to bring you guys is like no other. We love to give you guys not just our minds, but we love to give you guys our hearts, our souls, man. Like we really bleed green, and this is something we really care about. I started this channel. I got the idea from this channel, just talking trash on the block with the homies about the Eagles and the old heads on the block. And then I came across a bunch of content creators on YouTube, like Joey Shakes, Laura Brunson, Philly Fresh. I found those guys, and I'm like, hold on, wait, I can do this. What I'm saying? This is what I do on the regular. Let me just dive in, and I got the equipment. Let me just go in and do this. This is my passion. I did college radio. Why not? You know what I'm saying? So like, it's just like, this is something I really hold dear to my heart, you guys, and this content is nothing without you guys, man. I'm so glad you guys came in to rock out with us for as long as y'all did. If you guys have been here for the entire time, that's amazing, man. You guys have been so loyal to the soil, and I am so grateful. Like, I want you guys to really understand that I am so grateful for the way you guys have been locked in for as long as you have, and you guys have been active in the chat as well. And on top of that, you guys have held us accountable. You guys have brought in, you guys allowed the live stream to go on for as long as it did by providing different takes. providing other prospects that we need to keep our eyes on. Even challenging the players on the team already, like Jalen Reagor, challenging guys, like Josh Sweat, challenging Jalen Hurts. At the end of the day, man, we are in a unique position right now as a franchise. And all we need is for the organization, the front office themselves to understand that and make the right moves at the right time and not overthink it. We are in prime position. We are in pole position to rebuild this franchise within 2 years. Let's be honest. We can bounce back within 2 years. We can be back in playoff contention within 2 years if we draft properly and if Jalen Hurts takes that next leap, if Jalen Reagor takes that leap, if guys like Josh Sweat, Derek Barnett take that leap, if guys like Kavon Wallace take that leap. You know what I'm saying? Jordan Mailata taking that leap. Miles Sanders taking that leap. Nate Herbig, Jack Driscoll taking that leap. Quez Watkins, John Hightower taking that leap. We are in a good position, you guys, and that first-round pick is going to determine our future. That first-round pick coming is going to really set the stage for everything else. I'm telling you guys, we are in a unique position. Don't fret. It's okay that we drafted back because when we did it, we could still draft back up in that top 10. Do not sweat it, you guys. There's so much time. It's 4 weeks before the draft. So be calm. Be easy. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Where not only myself, Tone Deshields II, but my man, the Nest Out West, Philly Foothills, aka Philly Fuego. You dig? And you guys, you always tune into the Chalk It Up live stream, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. One love and fly Eagles fly.